Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 153, I was very privileged to have Jan Malloch on. She's a fitness transformation program creator for professional women over the age of 50. I have to say, this lady has lived many lives, and I got to say her drive and spirit is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, we talked about many things. We talked about how she sort of got started with her fitness journey. We talked about how she got started way back in the beginning, working for the civil service, then to like become a mother, and then like switching and changing from the civil service into working as a data analyst, a network engineer. And yeah, got to say it. If like she has such a can-do attitude, it was refreshing to be around. So please, sit back, enjoy the show. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. And yeah, have a wonderful day. And yeah, I hope you are as energized as I am from this lady. Have a good one, people. Bye bye for now. Peace. Hello, my friends. Hello, my life warriors, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Day In, Day Out podcast. Woo! Today on episode 153. Oh, I should have asked her how I pronounce her family name before we started this. But let's see if I can get it right. Do not help me. Do not help me. I put myself into this situation. It's Jan Malloch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is where I get the rest of it totally wrong. Yeah, she is a fitness transformation program creator, a professional woman over the age of 50. Now, I have to say, Jan, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, and all the better for meeting you for the very first time.
Oh, you know what? It might be the first time. I'm going to say it now. Even if this podcast goes to hell in a handbasket, it will not be the last. Yeah. You know what? When you got in contact with me, I was like, okay, yeah, okay, no worries, thank you. I was like, looked at your bio, and you went, okay. Then I looked into it a little bit more. I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, you tweaked my interest, and I was intrigued. I got to say, yeah, I about a year ago, I had a young lady on talking about the human third age. First age when you're a kid, second age when you're just like, getting on with life, and the third age of retirement. Now,
Yeah.
I got to simply say this. Now, you, how many lives are you planning to live, lady? How many lives?
Well, do you know what, Miwa? I'll tell you right now, I have still not decided what I'm going to be when I grow up.
You know what? I say here to that. Like, if I had something stronger to drink than my trusty bottle of rye, being like, yeah, I'll definitely toast you on that level. So, yeah. No, this is the thing. Right now, in this stage of life, you are a fitness guru. You became a personal trainer. You've done a number of things. But before this, many moons ago, what were you doing?
Right. Well, I tell you what, how far do we want to go back?
Oh, like, you know what? I like, this is a thing. I am like, this is the thing. I am quite surprised because, like, yes, you started working as, like, yeah, a network analyst, like
Oh, that was only halfway through my life.
halfway through.
Right. Okay.
Is
Yes.
what I
You've
mean.
obviously you've seen my LinkedIn
Oh,
profile. That's
I
what
have
you've
looked at your
seen.
LinkedIn profile. I look, this is the thing. The reason why I go back to that, because I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. You started this. What age did you start this stage in your life?
Okay, well, I'll tell you, I'm going to start from when I was about 20, all right?
Okay.
And let's go through this because I have had some really quite major changes, certainly regards my career. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start.
Oh, she's getting
I went,
geared up. Come on.
you ready? On your marks, get set, go.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
right. Okay, so I went to university. I was in Glasgow University. I was doing geography, got through 1 year, flunked it, didn't get through it. That was it.
What were you studying?
So my mother was not happy, you know. So
Yeah.
what I did was I thought, right, okay, it looks as if I'm not going to graduate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the civil service because that's a respectable job, right? So I went to the civil service. I was there for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the age of 32, I became a mother, right? And that is most certainly the hardest job in the entire world.
All my
All
friends
right.
say all my friends say it's a piece of cake. Like, you know what I mean? Hard.
So anyway, so then I had a second, so I had two children. And what I did was, you know, I was getting really fed up just talking to the four walls every day and two toddlers, basically. You know, my life wasn't really, I wasn't getting the intellectual stimulation that I needed. So what I did was, I'd actually learned to be a dressmaker way back. You know, my grandmother taught me how to sew. So I thought, well,
Nice.
what I'll do is I'm going to start a dressmaking business up and I'll do that from home, which was great because it meant I could actually speak to some grown-up people. And I was also getting sort of, you know, I could be productive and I was getting a huge amount of job satisfaction out of it. Great. Okay, so I was happy. Then both my kids started school and then that was freedom.
Freedom, you know, like, you know what?
So
yeah.
Now what you're talking, we're talking 1995 here, right? Because I'd been in the civil service I left in 1988. 1995, I'm going back to work. And do you know what had happened in those 7 years? Computers had arrived at the workplace. And I had not been in the workplace.
Like, I'm very surprised computers managed to make it into the civil service in the 90s. I was expecting you to say the early 2000s or just
right. Okay. No, I didn't go back to the civil service. I went in because I didn't know how to use a computer. I went in as an interviewer. So basically I was interviewing people for jobs. All right. So that was great because I didn't have to worry about a computer or anything like that. Then the company, they sent me on a course on how to learn Word and Excel, and I fell in love with it. By this time, I was doing my mathematics degree through the Open University.
Yeah.
Everything was tying in brilliantly. Yeah. So that is when I started building computers. You know, this is a person 2 years ago who didn't even know how to turn them on. And then I decided to start building them.
So, yeah, like this. So basically, kids, dressmaking, happy. And then, like, yeah, go back to work. Like, as you say, freedom. God, I hope your kids are not listening to this because they're like, hey, what the? And then you were like interviewing, and then you discovered computers, and then you started making computers.
Yes.
Okay.
So here we go. Now we're into about 1997, right? All right. So I'm building computers in my own home, and I'm putting them together with cables so they are networked together. Yeah. So I decided that's it. That's what I want to do as my career. I want to be an engineer, right? Okay. So, of course, I go along to one of these training companies. It was actually in Edinburgh, and it was Pittman Training. And, you know, they had computer courses. Yeah. So I'm talking to the guy, trying to persuade the guy that I want to take on one of these computer courses. Now, he's talking to a 41-year-old female. Yeah. And he's thinking, what? You mean you want to learn how to type? He says. So that just made me even more determined. So I tell you, within a year, I had my Microsoft certified systems engineer qualification.
Wow.
And I thought, right, I'm going to definitely, you know, get into networking because networking in 1998, that was the buzzword. You need networking. That's what it is, you know. So I joined.
And all of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I went to Sky Television we've got one in Livingston here. And I worked as a call center agent because I thought if I want to get into IT, I need to get into a big company that takes on IT people.
Yeah.
So I went in just as a call center agent, and I would be sitting there and I would be looking at a door over at the side, and that was the network room. And I said to myself, one day I'm going to be through that door. Yeah. So within 2 months, get this, there was a vacancy on the wall, right, saying that they were looking for a trainee networks analyst. And I thought, look, Jan, you've got absolutely nothing to lose. Yeah. They were looking for somebody who had a degree in computing.
Yes.
They were looking for somebody, they were also expecting them to have desktop support experience.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell by reading in between the lines that they were looking for a 22 or 23-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here I was now 42. Yeah. No computer degree, no experience of desktop support. So I thought, to hell with it. I'd got nothing to lose. So I applied for the job, went for the interview, and I was competing against 8 guys who were about 23, 24, but I was the one who got the job.
Now, when you got the job, okay, look, I don't have any doubt you don't believe in yourself. Yes, you're sneaking when you get to planning, you make things happen. Like,
yeah.
How did you feel? Was it like mission accomplished, or was this just the beginning?
Well, I tell you what I thought was when the letter came through the door offering me the job.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you, I had to reread it and reread it and reread it at least 30 times. And it finally sunk in. I've got it. Yeah.
Mm.
So when I started the job, I thought, do you know what? I don't care what salary they give me. I could pay them for me to work here. This is absolutely amazing. You know.
Don't tell them that, because they would have done that to you. Oh, really?
No, I didn't tell them that.
Oh, really?
And I tell you, I absolutely loved it because I was learning all the time. And the thing was, because networking was so new, basically in the entire world, it was new.
Yeah.
What we were doing was the company was getting built up. We were building our network up. And as we were building our network up, I was building up my knowledge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was absolutely amazing. Great. I loved it. But do you know what? I think you can probably tell I'm one of these people who enjoys challenges. Yeah.
No. I'm not really getting this from you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just getting this sort of a run of the mill type person who just one thing that like one thing.
So anyway. So basically what I did was I was working at Sky, and I thought, no, there's better things out there. So, but I was going to be a network person, right? So I went to, so I was in Sky, then I went to the Royal Bank of Scotland.
Okay.
And I lasted there 15 months. That was enough. That was so stressful, it wasn't true. Because the thing is, you're talking about a bank here.
Yeah.
If one cash machine is down, they absolutely flip. Oh, look at all the money we're losing. Look at all the money we're losing, you know. And I mean, at the time, I didn't even have a mobile phone. I had a pager. And I'd be taking the bus into Edinburgh in the morning, and my pager would be going saying, this network's down, that network's down. And I thought, life is more, and, you know, this is too much, you know. So then I went off to another company. I went off to Scottish Power. So I was advising. I was the go-between between the management and the technical team. So I was be able to, you know, get the technical jargon and put it in layman's terms as to what was actually going on with the network and all that.
Yeah.
Then I got fed up with that one. And then I thought, right, I'm just going to go off to, it was actually McAlpine. So we were looking after likes of the police networks and whatnot. And that was fascinating. Yeah. But then I tell you what, this was 2008. And I'd always been into self-development, you know, Tony Robbins, all these sort of people. And I woke up one morning, this was March 2008, woke up, opened my eyes, looked across at one of my bookcases, and it had one of Tony Robbins' books. And I thought, I want to be Tony Robbins.
So, well, I don't think you're going to have the height, but nevertheless.
No, no, no.
It's like-
Well, okay, let me re-qualify this. Let me be like Tony Robbins.
okay, no worries. Yeah.
Okay, so what I do is literally that day I handed in my notice.
Like I have a sense you have no form of impulse control.
Let's just say, I think I'm what you would call a risk taker. Yes, yes. So anyway, so that was it. So I handed in my month's notice. And what I thought was, if I want to be Tony Robbins, that means I'm going to have to know about NLP, neuro linguistic programming. Yeah.
Yes.
So what I did was I thought, right, well, I want to do a hypnotherapy course and I want to do an NLP course. And there's one up I can do up in the Highlands, but funnily enough, it was a residential thing.
Yeah.
And it was going to cost me like 5,000 quid. And I thought, I've just resigned my job. There's no way I've got 5,000 quid. So I thought, I mean, at the time I was 52. I said, okay. I'm cashing in part of my pension. Because this is going to give me a bit of a lump sum and it's going to allow me to do what I want to do.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I did. That's what I did. So of course, now we're only in 2008 here, aren't we? Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so I carried on with hypnotherapy, the NLP. I was all into this positive thinking, positive attitude, all the rest of it. In fact, for a long time, I was the master of positive achievement. That was what I was known as, right? You might even find me on the internet still there, somewhere in the dregs, somewhere of the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I found your YouTube page. Yeah, that was quite, thank you. Like, yeah, like when you say in the dregs of the internet, you've been going on YouTube for, like since 2008. I'm going to come back to that.
Okay. But then about 3 years ago, I decided, right, okay, so I've got my mind sorted. I'm doing what I enjoy and all that. But you know what? I need to be physically fit. Yeah, because let's think about this 20 years down the line. You know, I don't want to be sitting in a care home, dribbling in the corner somewhere, you know. So I decided, right, I'm going to have to get fitter. And then it was an article in The Guardian that said that we really need personal trainers, older personal trainers who relate to older adults.
Okay.
To keep them. And I thought, there we go. There's a huge gap in the market. And guess who? I'm going to fill it. Right. So that's what I did. I did all my qualifications and all the rest of it. And that's me. I'm a personal trainer now. Yeah.
No, but okay. Wow. All I've got.
Did I shut you up there?
Oh, well, like, look, only a few people have, and it's a very short list. But that's another story. But like, okay, you have like, if for one person, one of the scenarios of your life would most probably be enough. It's like, yes, yes, I worked for the civil service. Yes, I was a parent. Yes, like, yeah, I basically decided to do network engineering. But like, to sort of like, okay, bam, 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 to jump from one thing to another. And when I mean jump, that's not fair. I would say make a strategic move from one thing to another.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I think the opportunities presented themselves. And then I took, the opportunity to take them up. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say was your driving force, like, for going from one to the other to the next thing, and like basically not sort of going at it sort of like half baked or half arsed? You're really sort of like, yeah, I really want to be the top of my game in these sectors.
I think really it's a case of I've always been one who really needs to learn. I want to learn all the time. Yeah. And that is probably what the main thing is. And then you've got the learning phase, but you've also then got once I've learned this, now I can help other people with it. Yeah. That was the important thing. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say, like, okay, what would you say at sort of different stages were your sort of biggest lessons you learned over the course of time?
I think what personally I did was anything you set your mind to, you can do it. Because let's face it, when I wanted to go into network engineering,
Yeah.
Well, it it was and still very much is a male orientated environment. That's it.
Yeah.
You very rarely see a female doing that sort of work. Um, so, and in fact, I'm tell you a quick story here. I was in the call center in Sky, and
Yeah.
as a network engineer, right? Now, there was one of the network sockets underneath the desk that needed repaired. It was all coming to bits. So, of course, I turn up in my navy blue skirt suit, looking all very sort of like I'm a director of the company or something like that, with the screwdriver in my hand. And I said to the guy who was sitting down, I said, "You'll have to excuse me. I have to get under the desk."
So, so what?
And he said, "What?
It's like, what?
Why do you need to get under the desk?" I said, "I'm here to actually, fix that network point because it's all loose." And he said, "Would you not be better calling an engineer to do that?" And I said, "I'm sorry, I am the engineer." And he didn't know what to do.
Just like, look him. I am the engineer. Move.
So I tell you what, I think in a way I like shocking people. Yeah. So I like to be different from other people.
Yeah, because, well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. You are like one of the truly unique snowflakes in the world. Absolutely. There you go. But like, yeah, sort of each challenge is like, okay, doing that, like, okay, being a dressmaker, and like basically my lady makes me sometimes watch that sewing version of
B thing, yeah, okay.
yeah, and like, yeah, some of the things they do in the sort of allotted time, you like going, that is tough, that is hard. I can do it for love, money, or toffee. You sit me down for a
Yeah,
good 10 years, and like, I'll be like, no, I'm not interested. Please get me out of here. That is not an easy thing to do. To do network engineering to like a Microsoft like NT qualified level, when
yeah,
okay, that is also not an easy thing to do. And now personal training, like when you're like when you're basically, yeah, should be retired. And look, don't get me wrong, the personal training course, I know firsthand, is not an easy course to do.
No, that's
Like,
right.
because like, yeah, got to know the whole human anatomy and everything like that. And like, yes, it's a lot of studying, in like, depending how you do it, in either a short time frame or even over a course of a year.
That's right.
It's a tough course. Like, how did you find the personal training course? Because were you in class or were you doing this over distance?
No, I did it. It was in class, so that was much better because I think if you were doing it, I tell you what, I'm actually doing my GP referral at the moment, and I'm doing that online, and that is tough because you need so much discipline to keep it going. That's the thing. But when I was doing it in the classroom environment, it was much, much better because you were obviously working with other people and all that. But I tell you, see the anatomy and physiology, that was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And I thought, let's just get it into my head, learn it just enough time just to get it down on paper. And that's all I need to do. So
yep. Because like, this is the thing, too many people I think fall into the trap of like going, oh, you're a personal trainer, oh, so you just tell me what I need to do and that's about it. No. Like, I would say there is a fair chunk of, say, medical school for like about a good, like, maybe 3 months or something like this. You like go, okay. It's like a challenge and a half. Now, yeah. So how did you, like, when it came to sort of, when it came to sort of doing the sort of demonstrations and the classes, how did you find that, with regards to like your assessments? Because I've dabbled in personal training myself, because I know it's not easy when you're doing that. But how did you find it?
I found it a breeze. And do you know why?
Why?
And it was because it was the tutor said, she said, "I can see, Jan, you're a natural because you're clearly a teacher. You're a teacher. So you're telling them exactly what you want them to do. And they do it. And this is what I would say I was probably more of a teacher than a coach. Yeah.
Okay. Right, like because like when it comes down to becoming a personal trainer, there is everyone has to do their time, and when I say their time, they got to do their time in a gym. Mm.
Yeah.
Which gym did you go to?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I tell you what, this was just last January.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I started, it was Pure Gym in Livingston. And the thing was, as soon as they heard that I was qualified to teach older adults,
Yeah.
oh, come on, Jan, hurry up. We need you right now,
Mm.
because I did, as I say, I did that qualification as well. And very, very few people have got that.
Yeah.
So the manager said, oh, yeah, come on, Jan, please. So now that was interesting because as part of my gym shifts, if you like, I was leading classes. And we
Okay.
had a whale of a time because what I was doing was I was getting the older women into my class and I'm playing old 70s and 80s music. So I was attracting a huge community, that the youngsters, they weren't attracting. So it was great. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Like so, like with that, like I imagine, like starting in January, like things seems like they were going gangbusters. Then, the March came along and basically,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So like, so how have you been sort of keeping that going while like, yeah, everything was locked down for a period of time, and then yeah,
Well, I could actually, not that I couldn't really foretell the future, but I sort of thought my idea was actually to work in the gym for about 2 years, then
mm,
move everything online. And you know what? The pandemic just brought my model closer to let's just get online now. And that was it.
mm,
So, I mean, what I was doing some mobile personal training. I mean, I've been going out to local, homes and whatnot and teaching, or coaching older women, locally. I could do that.
mm.
But all of my stuff is now online. That's the place to be. Yeah.
Right. So, what were some of the challenges, would you say, sort of getting online and getting things started?
Well, do you know what?
Mm.
Obviously, I had the advantage of being a network engineer. So I was quite techy, if you like,
Yeah.
already. Yeah. And to be honest, since about 2008, I'd already been studying marketing and, how to best, get leads and all the rest of it. And of course, with obviously my positive achievement sort of business I had, that gave me a huge sort of advantage in being able to market.
Mhm.
So that wasn't really too much of a challenge. In fact, that was really what I was going to be more comfortable with. That was the thing.
Right. So, where are all these clients based? Are they based like in the UK mostly, or are they based further afield, would you say?
In the States.
Ah.
All of them are in the States. And I'll tell you this, I have a Facebook group, right?
Mhm.
I have 1,300 people in that group. And out of that 1,300, women from the UK, you wouldn't believe this, 52.
ah, well, like this is the thing. Like when it comes to, I would say, sort of physical activity and sort of like keep yourself going. When you kind of like when I think of the States and sort of more sort of senior like class, places like Florida come to mind, Phoenix, and sort of like yeah, Phoenix, yeah, and sometimes
Palm, Palm Springs, that sort of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
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 So there is that sort of area to be much more active and like, yeah, because when you kind of look at the UK as a whole, as we both know, the UK can be a rather wet place. Hmm. It's like
Yes, it's pouring right now. Yes, yes.
oh well, yeah, it was raining here earlier, and I'm in London, and look, let's just say last month it was a complete washout down here. So yeah,
Yeah.
so there isn't so much the sort of trend on the sort of physical activity. I think it's going to change over the next few years because more emphasis is going to be put on fitness, and with
Mhm.
all what's gone on, like I think I don't know why they haven't said more about exercise and keeping yourself in
Yeah. Yeah.
shape because it's like with all what's gone on, it seemed to avoid like people who tried to keep themselves in shape as much as possible, like the plague.
Yeah.
That was poor choice of words, but it avoided. It's like yeah, but it avoided them. Like it's like oh, you're keeping yourself active, you're working out, no problem at all. But yeah, like what?
Yeah, it's. I think this pandemic, in so many different spheres, has been a real wake up call for a lot of people. Whether it's their career or their general health and fitness, relationships with other people and whatnot. It certainly made you appreciate far more what you've got. When you realize, all these things that we were taking for granted, just we can't do it anymore. And I would like to think that people are going to say, do you know what? If I want to combat any of these things, these illnesses in the future, I really have to take responsibility and do this for myself. That's the thing,
Absolutely. I agree with you. Like, this is a thing at this moment in time with the regards to pandemic, it's a black swan moment where basically I look at like black swan moments, a random thing which just happens, like completely out of left field. But with this black swan moment and like throughout history, it's not the actual moment when it actually happens, it's the ripples which come go out from it. And I think there is going to be, as you say, a lot of people looking to change their career, and a lot of people examining relationships, and basically a true reflection on where one's life is going. With yourself, you did that 3 years earlier, and or I would imagine you'd be like, yes, I need to do something new right now. Yeah.
Well, it tends to, I work in sort of 10-year cycles. And I found this pattern because at 22, 32, 42, 52, I was a hypnotherapist, 62, I was a personal trainer. So I'm looking forward to when I'm 72. I could be a truck driver or something. I don't know.
I can imagine. But it's very interesting what you say about 10-year cycles, because if you go along every sort of 10 years and you look at the world, you go, right, if you went, okay, it's 1986 and you went 10 years into the future, you're like, okay, the internet. What's the internet? You go, okay, move 10 years again. You'll be like going, okay, right. Okay, whoa, like it's like terrorist, this, that, the other, internet's exploded, you got, okay, moved another 10 years ago, and you'll be like, smartphones, this. And it just, with 10 years, I think it's a very sort of good sort of, no, it's a good wave to ride, because just as you get,
it's interesting actually just talking about this, looking into the future, because it just reminds me of a book I had when I was at school. And these were in the days when an employer could say, I want a man or a woman for this particular job.
Right.
And it was Careers for Girls. That was what it was called. Yeah. And it was all like, you could be a nurse, you could be an air steward, you could be an air hostess. Whoa.
Yeah.
But it was all, typist, all very, very much female orientated, and that's it. Now, obviously, in the 70s, they weren't talking about, well, Jan, you might be a network engineer, because obviously these jobs weren't around. That was it. Yeah.
No, this is the thing, seeing the future, going with it, riding the wave rather than sort of trying to swim against it, I think is the best form of not of attack, but the best way to go in life, I think. Because look, you have rode a number of different waves. If you had to sit someone down and go, they're sort of about to enter their sort of twilight years, or they're about to hit a time in life where they're having an epiphanal moment, what would you say to them to say, it will be okay, or you should be doing that? Not so much you should be doing this, but what would you say the best?
Say whether if they have any inkling that they want to try something, do it. Because the famous saying, you're more likely to regret the things that you didn't do than the things you actually did do, and that's really important, And I mean, the thing was, I think my philosophy, if you like, is, I don't want to be getting down the road and sort of think, I wish I had done this, that, and the next thing.
Yeah.
At least I've tried it, and there might be something in the next couple of years I say, oh, I wish I could do this. Although I'm not a wisher, I am more of a doer. Yeah. If I get something in my head saying I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm going to become an artist next year or something like that. Well, I wouldn't say to myself, I wish I could become an artist.
Yeah.
What I would be working on is, how do I do it? That's the thing.
So, interesting thing. Okay, now I hear that doing like, there's like people who say like wish, and there are people who do, and like basically taking action, taking control. It always interests me when like that sort of initial spark of the idea comes into being. But like, yeah, I always wonder how some people who are the more doing types take those first steps forward, because it can be quite unclear what you need to do. Like, so would like, out of any of the things you like decided to start doing, what was the sort of first steps you took?
Well, it was, right. I mean, if we take, for instance, if we took in the personal training, that's the most recent sort of thing, So basically, I'm not one, I don't talk about problems. I find solutions in anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. So as I say, I had the goal that I had to lose weight and get fitter, right? Now, then I'm sort of thinking, how do I do that? So what I did was I contacted the local gym, and they were looking for volunteers to help out in the, with it was an aging well project. All right. So this was actually for women over 50. Now, this was well before I'd even thought about becoming a personal trainer or anything like that. I never even thought about it. But I thought, I tell you, see, if I'm actually volunteering in a gym, there's probably a better chance that I will actually attend a gym if I'm sort of a part of them, because gyms, I don't want any gyms, So, of course, because of my background, I sort of thought, oh, they'll probably take me on as somebody to help fix their computers or be an admin person or a receptionist or something like that. Anyway, so the woman sort of saying, well, what do you want to do? And basically, she was saying, you can do anything you like. You said a lot of us, a lot of the people who are here, they just serve tea and coffee. I said, no, I don't want to, I'm not going to do that, So anyway, she said, do you fancy doing a course in how to teach frail older adults seated exercise? I said, whoa, yeah, I could do that. And that was literally a 2-day course. And that was me onto the road of starting to get qualified, right? So, and everything just, it goes in a nice sort of flow. You think, wow, so that's me seated exercise. Well, how about if I now qualify as a gym instructor? So it was all just a case of, let's move to the next one. Yeah. And when I was doing my gym instructor, I hadn't really any desire to become a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Because like you've sort of pointed out, I thought, that's going to be too hard. That's going to be too hard. I'm not going to be able to do that. But then loads of people on the gym instructor course said, Jan, you're going to be ideal as a personal trainer. So basically they had challenged me to do that. And guess what? I accepted the challenge, and that was it. Yeah. So again, it's all about, let's see, where do we start? Okay, what's the second step? What's the third step? What's the fourth step? Look, if I don't like it, fine. It doesn't matter. I've tried, and I can see where I was going. I could see whether I enjoyed it or not.
Yeah. So, well, you know what? I like that. I like that a lot, because it's just, you don't like, people often fall into the trap of like two things: perfectionism and the plan. Like, if it doesn't match, if it's not perfect, okay, I can't do it. If it doesn't match the plan, I can't do it. And like, they always get caught in that deadly spiral of which leads to procrastination and eventually the death of that dream.
And the thing is, they're actually talking themselves out of what they're they would actually be perfectly capable of doing, but they tell themselves, no, I'm not good enough to do this, no, and whatnot, so, and it's sad because, there's so many people who could be really going ahead, striding ahead in their lives, but it's actually their mind that is telling them that they can't do it.
Yeah. Like there is a saying like from, I don't know if you know Les Brown, the motivational speaker.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, he's saying one of his sayings is, like like you'll be laying your deathbed. I'm paraphrasing here, and basically you'll have your dreams like all standing around at you, looking at you with angry eyes because you are the only one who had the power to bring them into being. And like this is the thing. I think so many people, as you say, talk themselves out of what they could possibly be doing, and like this is like one of the things I hope from 2020 and up to present day, this like cluster, not this sort of scenario of what's going on can help people like go, wait a second, wake them up and like help them to look to what they can possibly do, tap into that potential. Because because like this is the thing, I don't like with that, I don't think you're the type of person which is actually chasing after everything you possibly can. Like from what I've seen, well, if not everything, but most of the things you want, like when life offers you opportunities, you go for it, which is
well, this is it. Because what I view, any change in your life, whether it's good or bad, is always an opportunity to grow. Probably somebody like Les Brown told us that. I don't know, but it sounds like it would be a Les Brown type of thing.
Yeah, there's this YouTube channel called Yes Theory, and one of their sayings is seek discomfort. And like this is the thing, I think I'm a strong believer in that because look, when you're comfortable and you've got your slippers on in life, you're not really sort of going out there chasing after things, and you're not really growing. But when you do seek out those places of discomfort, when you get into it really hard and you're like going, oh my Lord, I know about this and I've pushed myself. It's like, wow, you become a slightly better person. You become different to what you were before. And like, hopefully better.
And I think the thing is, if, you're talking about discomfort, but remember, once you get into that discomfort and do it, it will become comfortable. That's it.
And that's the reason why you've got to sort of constantly look to improve yourself like every damn day. And like this is I think that's where people sort of get caught out, because look, it's easy to stop like if you reach the top of that mountain and go, I've done it. And when someone has, what I often find, and you see it with like sports people or like people who set themselves a specific target, once they've hit that target and they're like they wake up the next day like from a very triumphant night, they look around and go, what do I do next?
What now? That's it.
Which I think, but like this is the thing, have you ever felt that type of situation where like you like get up and go, now what do I do next? Or is it being the case of
No, I think, and the reason why I don't think so is because I'm always so involved in doing what I'm doing, and then it's just out of the blue, it's an opportunity. I mean, actually talking about, and I'll have to go back, let's take the train back to the station here.
I like, we can go to the station, we go anywhere, like to the moon and back.
I tell you, if we go back to when I was doing the being the interviewer, this was before I started my network engineering career. Now, okay, I had started my Open University mathematics degree, right? So I'm doing this Open University mathematics degree. Now, we're talking 1995, and we're talking about, remember the old desktop computers, huge, great monitors, all the rest of it. And another thing I got into was genealogy, family history.
Right.
Start researching ancestors. So I also became qualified. I became qualified in that as well. Just Just as a side note, Anyway,
I'm sorry. I've
anyway,
got to leave. I got to like go out there and do something else. Like, yeah, like so I feel fulfilled.
but I tell you what it was. So as I say, I had one of these big desktops,
Oh
right?
yeah,
A big, thick, it was a Hewlett Packard big thing. I think it was an old 486. That's what it was. How old it was,
yeah.
And this was before your time, probably.
Um,
Anyway, so so my husband, right? This was my birthday, right? So we thought Jan is into, family history and all that.
mm.
So what I'll get her and they called it CD-ROMs
Yes,
of
yeah.
Family Tree Maker, right? Great. Okay, so I open it up. This is my birthday. I've got a CD-ROM. Look at my old 486. Guess what? It's only got a floppy disk drive. It does not have a CD-ROM player in it. So that is how it started, right? I thought, I can do this. I can go on to whatever internet site it was that sold bits and pieces for computers, bought the CD drive,
Yeah.
installed it, managed to, so that was great. I could do my Family Tree Maker stuff, no bother. So that is what started me actually starting to build computers. So it's just the smallest things can totally change your path in life. So I've never really been looking for the next thing. The next thing is always just cropped up.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Like, it just started with a spark with a CD-ROM. Okay, that is interesting. Like, would you say when you were doing interviews, like for for the civil service, that kind of gives you a sort of more of a bit of insight to how other people basically worked with their lives and see how their lives were going? Sort of like,
well, it was interesting because when I was in the old job centers, doing that. And this was in the early 80s. And the early 80s, that was really, really hard for people to get work and all the rest of it,
Yeah.
So I was seeing, and I mean, I didn't work in the unemployment benefit offices because I wasn't dealing with the benefits. I was just dealing with people looking for jobs, And I thought there are so many people here who just don't have any skills whatsoever, and they were really just looking for anything that they could possibly get. And again, we were still in the time where the employer on the job cards on the walls could still say, I want a man or a woman for this particular job. And I remember there was a guy who came in and he was obviously, he had a family and all that. He was desperate for a job. And there was a company in Glasgow, and basically they bottled washing, detergents, that sort of thing. Yeah. I won't even name the company. But anyway, the guy wanted the job to basically just work on the assembly line. And so I phoned the employer and I said, look, I've got John Smith here who's interested in this job. And do you know, the employer turned around and said, do you not realize when you're looking at the pay scale that is clearly for a woman to have that job? So basically, I just said to the guy, look, it's, you need to actually, interview this guy. You cannot just let it go for that, But, it's amazing how, and it was so, because it's low paid. So therefore that must mean it's definitely a woman who should be doing this job, And I thought, shock, horror, that was awful,
Yeah, but like, this is the thing, the 70s, the 70s and 80s were kind of like, if you kind of look at today and you look at back then, it's not the same planet. It's like,
no, totally different. Yeah.
So like, I sometimes get frustrated when people look at the past and go, that's wrong and stuff like this. It's like, yeah, but that was the
way it was. Yeah, that's it.
It's a totally different world to what it is today.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, being in the civil service, and the thing was, obviously, I was having the public coming to me and all the rest of it, but you would never think anything wrong with going to the pub at lunchtime. Did that, That was a part of the culture. That was a part of what the 70s and 80s were about. But now, you get, carted off to the manager's office and all the rest of it,
So. There, if you go to the right company. There you go.
All right.
you still can get away with it. Thank God it hasn't gone that far too yet. Like, yeah, but yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from with that, but it is just crazy. But like the whole thing is like, yeah, the emphasis on like, yeah, like gaining new skills because like, yeah, seeing the plight of people who just didn't have any skills. I don't know if it deeply affected like your sort of like mentality going forward, but like, yeah, like going like the new linguistic programming, ancestral, like basically,
Yeah.
yeah, fit like,
Well, I can tell
yeah,
you, sure, when I was in the civil service, I knew that I could definitely do an awful lot better with my life. That's for sure. So it was certainly getting the balls rolling for me to start improving,
yeah,
And I think what had happened was, as I say, I left the civil service in 1988 to become a mother, a
yeah.
full-time mother, which just, I'm not a maternal person at all, but hey ho, that's the way it was. But it
To
gave
your
me
kids
that
out
sort
there,
of
she doesn't
thought.
mean it.
I think it gave me time to sort of think and say, right, Jan, what do you really want to do then? You don't have to just do what everybody else is doing.
Yeah,
You don't have to do what your mother expects you to do or what your father expects you to do.
yeah.
You do what you want to do, well, providing it's within the law, and take it from there. Yeah.
International giant diamond smuggler. I'm not too sure.
That's right.
Yes, yes. You see that glamorous woman over there? Yes, she is the diamond smuggler we're after. Arrest her now. What do you mean, darling? Diamonds? Never. ah, so this is the thing. Now that you've got your following of 1,300 people on your Facebook page and everything like this, what is the sort of next sort of stages you want to sort of move into with regards to like helping people with their fitness and beyond?
Well, really, I mean, I'm already I've got a high ticket program
Mm,
that I've got clients for, and basically it's a 15-week program. And what they'll do, it's an exercise and workout regime, but also about healthy eating, habit change, all this sort of good stuff. And after 15 weeks, they will have developed some good habits so that they can carry on.
mm,
So that is really what I'm focusing on at the moment. But I'm looking really to get more into some group coaching where I can, help an awful lot more people at the same time. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's good. Like this is the thing. I think with regards to sort of group training, home training, I think that's the next sort of frontier because like this
Yeah.
is the thing. Like, okay, like I'm a person who loves going to the gym myself, but like the thing which I never thought could ever happen happened. It was like taken away from me,
Yeah.
not once, but twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I look at that and go, I don't want that to ever happen again. But where I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
in London, I can't really go like balls to the wall to get this, that, and every bit of equipment I would like to have. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but if I move, like if we move, it's a case of yes, that'll be most probably a priority. I say okay,
Right.
and that
Right.
means that priority. Oh, I'm just going to say this: it's just between me and you, no one else, and no one else.
All right. Don't let
But
anybody know. Yeah.
yeah, I most probably have to leave London to make this like home gym thing happen. But don't tell anyone.
Right.
Like keep it between us. Just like, okay, good, good, good. So yeah, so it's a case of yeah, with that sort of taken away from me, like I didn't like that, and it's one of those things where a lot of people have been waxing lyrical about yes, mental health and everything like this, but it's one like for myself. I need sort of I'm a person what needs some type of physical activity in the
Yeah.
morning to just help bring up my energy levels and I go
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
rest of the day. I know there is a distinct difference to my sort of being and how I act amongst like the people like I live with and like yeah, like meet on a day-to-day basis. It's just the way I am. I don't know if that's like yourself, but yeah, when you had like when you lost the gym for that period of time, like your whole sort of business plan and everything was changed. You went online, but what about stuff for your own physical activity at home?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, although I am a personal trainer, I have a personal trainer of my own. I was, I tell you what, I was looking for a personal trainer who was a female who was over the age of 50. Could not find one anywhere, nowhere to be seen.
Right.
So, do you know what I ended up with? A very handsome 25-year-old Spaniard. So there you go.
Like my heart bleeds for you.
And he's a power lifter. Yes. So anyway.
For shame. For shame.
But I must say that what we did during lockdown was,
I don't want to know what you did during
Zoom. We had personal training over Zoom. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was fine. So, because I already had, sort of resistance bands, I had weights, I had barbells and all that sort of thing in the house. So that was fine. We could do a proper sort of session, but it's still not quite the same thing as actually being there and being right there with the person. That's the thing. But, even before this pandemic, we know that online was becoming more and more commonplace.
Yeah.
So whether it was shopping or all of these online courses, and people were beginning to get into that. Then what happened? The pandemic came along and we had no choice. That was it. We had to do it.
Yeah. So with that, look, this is where I go to the YouTube thing, because look, you have been you've been on YouTube since 2008. So that's like old school times. I know you haven't been sort of consistent on YouTube.
No, I certainly haven't. Yes.
No, but for you to go, yes, I'm going to start a YouTube channel is just like, okay, right. So will you be doing a YouTube channel, which will be sort of focused towards the sort of over 50 sort of person who wants?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I think I've actually got quite a few sort of videos in my library, which I'm going to definitely have to use for, get them up onto YouTube. I mean, at the moment, I actually use YouTube a lot, but it's all unlisted videos, which go into my online courses and things like that. But yeah, I'm going to have to get, what I do out to the world more on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the thing. Do you edit the videos yourself, or do you get someone else?
Oh yeah. I love Camtasia. That's what I use. Yeah.
Okay. Like Camtasia, right? Yeah.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have anybody else doing it, because my philosophy is, if you wanted a thing done right, do it yourself.
I can imagine. It's no, this is how it's done. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So no, I've got loads and loads of software. I've got Camtasia, I've got Webinar Jam, I've got EverWebinar, I've got loads and all the techie stuff I would ever need. It's just a case of let's get the content, Jan, and let people know about me. That's the thing. Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. I'm gonna have to subscribe, see how far you go. It's so now you're kicking down doors, you're moving forward, and you seem to have the right stuff of it all. So what do you want to definitely see happen in 5 years from now?
Right. Well, I would like to be thinking I've got some sort of automated system up, whereby I am selling my products, my services, whatever, and I can just sit back on a beach, and that's it.
Sit back on the beach. No, you know what? I can't picture you sitting back on the beach. The only reason why I say this, I can, you know what? I can see you storming the beaches of Miami, somehow. That's yes, going forward, forever forward.
Right.
Starting your fitness empire. That's yes, this is it. Because this is the thing, your energy, your attitude. You have been a public speaker before in the past. Is that correct, or am I?
That's right. Because the thing was, remember my goal or my
Yeah.
ambition to become, like Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
What I needed, not only the NLP, but I needed to be able to speak as well. Yeah.
Mm.
So I went to like some Toastmasters and all the rest of it. And I learned how to do public speaking. So that was
Yeah.
really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Like with Toastmasters, how do you get into Toastmasters? Because I hear like Toastmasters on the grapevine, but like no one really goes, this is how you get into Toastmasters.
Oh, right. Well, you just approach them and say, I want to join. That's it. It's dead easy. Yeah.
Ah.
The only problem is, I was probably quite lucky in the one that I went to had
Mm.
some really good speakers, whereas a lot of them, I think they're pretty amateur, and I don't know if you would really learn all that much. That would be the problem.
Yeah. Like, so would you start your own podcast? Because I know you've been interviewed a couple of times because, yeah.
Yeah, I have thought about that, and I thought, you know what, it's going to be far too much work, because it is a lot of work, isn't it? I mean, you're having to get guests, you're going to have to get topics, all the rest of it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take the easy route, and I'm just going to get invited onto other people's podcasts.
No worries. You're trying to hack the system, as they say. Hack the system. No, because like this is the thing. I think, yeah, if you do the fitness and like talk, like talking as well when the world opens up properly again,
Yeah.
by the end of this year or early next year, I think there's going to be some real opportunities. And if you did a sort of meet and greet with some of the people over in the States, like your energy and hey, can-do spirit, I think that's going to really like go down well with those guys out there.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I do have an advantage. You might hear a slight American accent.
Well, like this is the thing. Like when I did, like I wasn't too like this is the thing. You kind of go a little bit more Scottish, like depending who you talk to, and like you've been more towards the Scottish because when I was doing my research, like you started off with like more of an American twang, and then it was like, wait, did you come over here or were you born?
Right.
Okay. Work out. Yeah. So
I lived in New York State. And I came over here when I was 10, 11. Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously I had all my sort of primary school education in the States.
Mm.
I came over here and I've been here ever since. We are talking 55 years. I've been in Scotland now. Okay. Now I've just told you my age, haven't I? I'm 65. That's it.
I did not know that. Well, it's a surprise to me.
Did you know? I hope you didn't think I was 85 and I looked so young.
No. I didn't even think you passed like the age of 60. I'm sticking with that story.
So obviously I've been in Scotland for 55 years. So clearly I'm going to have some sort of Scottish accent, yes.
Ah, indeed. What part of upstate, what part of New York State did you come from? Wait.
It was Ossining. You know where, now you've not heard of Sing Sing Prison, have you? It was an old 1930s film about Sing Sing Prison.
Yeah, I know Sing Sing Prison. Yeah, not personally, but I know of its.
Yeah. So Ossining, that's where Sing Sing Prison was.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's its claim to fame, and I tell people that, and they've never heard of Sing Sing Prison here. So anyway. So anyway, it was about 10 miles north of New York City. And the thing was about New York City was you went there for school trips. That's what you did. You did not go there for your Saturday shopping or anything like that because, you had your shops nearby and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it was always a special occasion you went to New York City, but it was to see like the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty or the United Nations, something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is the thing. When I worked in upstate New York a number of times. I don't know if you know of Fishkill, a town.
No.
Fishkill. You might have known Poughkeepsie more so.
Oh, Poughkeepsie, definitely. Yeah.
It's just south of Poughkeepsie, and like basically worked with the Fresh Air Fund organization, which helps inner city kids in New York.
Oh, right. Okay.
18 something or other, but yeah, that's where I spent most of my time. My second time? It was my third time being over in the States. And like, yeah,
Right.
I was like, I went into New York City. I was in a barber shop in Harlem. And
Okay.
basically, I'm sitting there because like my hair, like when I did have hair, the sad day. I mourn it. So, but like I was waiting, like sitting in the barber like shop waiting. And like there was like two barbers there and one barber, and like every time like someone would come up to him, whisper something in his ear, and then they'll like scurry off and then they'll come back and like, yeah. And like, yeah,
Right.
I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah. He goes, yeah, come sit down in the seat. Like said three words for him. It's like, oh, he got like kind of my hair. It's like, yeah. So where are you from? I was like, oh yeah, I'm from the UK. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah. Uh, I'm like here working at summer camp. He's like, oh yeah, yeah. Whereabouts? I went, oh yeah, Fishkill. Do you know it? He goes, yeah, I know Fishkill. Ah, I was in prison in Fishkill. I was like, my face went for, I don't know if I managed to maintain my composure, but I was like, oh, really? Prison in Fishkill, because there's two prisons in Fishkill. There's a,
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah, there's a minimum security and a maximum security separated by the highway. And it was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't ask him which one it was. He was like, yeah. Just as he finished my haircut, I went, what does it look like? I was like, fine. He could have done a jagged line. I could have been bleeding from my ear, but it's fine. It's okay. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay. It just threw me for a surprise. One, he knew where like my summer camp was, and two, when he was like, yeah, I went to prison in Fishkill, I was like,
I wasn't expecting that.
oh no, yeah, fun times, fun times. Should go back to I should go back to New York soon, hopefully. Who knows?
It's funny because whenever we go back to the States on holiday or whatever, we don't do New York. In fact, we don't do the East Coast. We always do California, Nevada,
Right.
Arizona, these sort of places. I find it more fascinating, these places. Yeah.
Interesting, because like, look, I haven't done the West Coast, and I haven't like done sort of the like Midwest, like Mid East or the Midwest. It's one of those things I would like to do that, get a bit more of the real sort of Americana. It's yeah. It must be kind of like you've been like here for 55 years, but you still kind of have that sort of trace memory of the United States.
I think this is the thing because I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I attract the Americans, because they can see. I mean, I say I'm from Tarrytown, New York. So whether it's just the American women are more likely to want to do something about their health, I don't know. But there's some weird thing about the UK women. They don't seem to,
Yeah. No, but like this is the thing. I would say there's been more sort of like where I'm living in London, there has been more sort of activity amongst like all sort of demographics, jogging, walking, like being active. But still, like if I went to a gym, like you say, a pure gym, like where you were working, I would say it would be very rare to find that sort of older demographic. Maybe it's based of they might go to a little bit places which are more expensive or more exclusive. I don't know, but I'd still say it's rare in the UK, and I think it's just a UK like health mentality.
maybe
this time, which I say it's changing, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be as rapid as some people think.
No. Which is a shame. I mean, we're going to have to change that. That's the thing. We're going to have to change it.
And like, you know what, with you charging the beaches, I'm sure that's going to happen like a lot quicker. Look, that's like forward, forever forward.
Oh, I'll have to wear my red Baywatch swimsuit. Yeah.
Well, you know what, we'll set up the camera, we'll get the slow-mo going for you. That's like, yeah, done. Yes. Why is she moving so slowly? I don't know. It's amazing. Now, let me just say this. Okay, it's final question. I've got to reveal something about myself. Don't have.
You've not been to prison, have you?
No, not that I can tell you right now.
Okay.
There are many things which go on. I can't divulge or go into. Like, yeah, before you know it, I'll be abducted. You'll be abducted, and like, yeah, we'll never see the light of day. But but I must reveal that I am a being of supreme cosmic power. And I can
Okay.
and I can grant you one wish before you even start anything, because I know, look, you sneaky, I can tell. It's like, yeah, like you can only have one wish. You cannot wish for more wishes. You cannot wish that you can't write anything down on a piece of paper, a long list, and go, yeah, I wish everything on this piece of paper comes true. You can't wish for world peace or get rid of COVID. Look, the amount of power I had to just get a vaccine going. I had to I had to deal with deals with Dolly Parton and yeah, even Beyonce. That is just too much power. I'm not going to do it again. It's too much.
Okay.
Now, if I can grant you one wish, what would that one wish be?
Well, let's talk about on the internet. Get me 5,000 leads for my business.
5,000 leads. Why not more? Just 5,000 leads. Interesting.
Yeah, I can't do everything. Let's start with the 5,000. Yeah.
Okay, 5,000 leads. We shall see what we can do about that. I'll get working on it right away. No problems. 5,000 leads. Yeah.
It's not impossible. It's not like world peace or anything like that.
No, you can't have world peace. Look, too many people tried it. No,
it just doesn't work.
Oh no. That's another thing. That's issues out there. Issues. So, can you tell the lovely people how they can find you out there on those interwebs? How they can track you down?
Okay, right. Well, probably my website's probably the easiest way, janmalloch.com. And I tell you, just go to Mr. Google and type in Jan Malloch, and you'll find me all over the place. And what to do is connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to connect with me, and find out more about me and let me know if I can help you at all in any way, especially if you're a woman over 50.
Fair enough. Yes, indeed. Women over 50. Go out there.
Yes.
Sign up with this lady. Yes. And I have to say, thank you for coming on today. You have been absolutely amazing. Loving the energy you bring to the game.
Well, that's been wonderful being a guest. This has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed myself.
No problem at all. You'll get your money later, not right now. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's another story. Anyway, let me say thank you to you, my friends, my life warriors out there. Thank you for staying here for so long, watching the show. It is amazing. Please stay safe, stay well, be awesome, be excellent, be fantastic, be all the positive bees you can be in this world and then some. Woo! Peace. And we are